This is The Download from Sounds Profitable, your daily source for the essential news in the business of podcasting, brought to you by Spreaker from iHeart. I'm Gavin Gaddis, in for Tom Webster. Here's what you need to know for today, Tuesday, April 9th. First up, Rooster Teeth Podcast Network sold to Night Talent Management. Night Talent Management, which represents high-profile YouTubers and Twitch streamers like Mr. Beast and Kai Cenat, has acquired the Roost Podcast Network, formerly of Warner Bros. Discovery's Rooster Teeth. While the specifics of the deal have not been disclosed, Night has said the majority of the network's 47 shows and team will remain, including the Roost's head, AJ Feliciano. The acquisition creates a Rooster Teeth bond between the companies, as current Night president Ezra Cooperstein was president of Rooster Teeth from 2018 to 2019. Up next from Lifehacker, the podcast landscape is a mess, and that's a good thing. In an online world where many corners of the internet have a single leader or handful of pseudo-monopolies that have become the de facto options, podcasting remains one of the few bastions of open internet philosophy. While walled gardens can and have existed in podcasting, on a long enough timeline, the majority of podcasts gravitate towards the open internet philosophy of distributing RSS feeds. Up next from Slate, why has Serial abandoned the best thing about Serial? A core selling point of what made the iconic first season of Serial work is in the name. A podcast that took reporting for a This American Life segment and expanded it into a 12-part serial, complete with cliffhangers and open questions, motivating audiences to return each week. Article author Miller argues each following season of Serial has drifted further away from that tight, compelling format and devolved into more of an anthology of years-old reporting done by other outlets. A reminder of the importance of keeping a podcast on track and remembering what premise attracted the audience to it in the first place. Next up from Marketing Brew, Gen Alpha is online and developing sports fandom, report says. Morning Consult's second annual report on Generation Alpha finds children 10 and younger are already engaging with streaming and social media, including sports content. 60% of respondents, or parents of children in this case, have watched a pro sport event on TV, and 47% have watched a college game on TV. 18% have already participated in fantasy leagues. Given the momentum of both kids and family and sports as podcast genres, there's potential synergy for podcasts that combine the two. And finally, from Digiday, in their media buying briefing, the upfront season. Can't live with them, can't so easily change them. It's TV upfront season in the United States, a tradition that traces all the way back to the 1960s, when all three broadcasting networks got together to show their programming schedules to advertisers in hopes of filling inventory. Now, over 60 years later, the landscape of media has changed drastically, and some interviewed by Digiday argue that there's not much need for big upfront networking events, parties, or presentations. The challenge will be getting the necessary momentum to implement any fundamental changes to the upfront structure. As for the rest of the news, IAB Australia's Audio Summit panels are now available as podcasts, fittingly enough. Seth Meyers teams up with The Lonely Island to produce an SNL Digital Shorts rewatch podcast. Forbes covers PRX's all-age Greek mythology podcast, Live from Mount Olympus, and how accessibility is woven into both the show and its production. And in the new editions section, we've got quite a few today. Sony Music Group has acquired Neon Hum, and founder Jonathan Hirsch is to become head of U.S. creative at Sony Music Group's podcast division. WME has hired Millie Weber to their London team with a focus on content creators and podcasting. Kevin Greenwald is now VP of Advertising and Audience Products at Odyssey. We got three here from Australia's ABC, not the United States ABCs. We've got Tim Roxburgh, now executive producer of True Crime podcasts. Rachel Brown is development executive for True Crime. And Joel Werner is now executive producer in Audio Studios. And finally, Audio Boom is expanding its sales team with Molly Harvey as VP of Brand Sales and Sean Wilson as VP of UK Sales. We've got a data snapshot for you this time around, too. This one comes from Art19, Gumball, and Signal Hill Insights. What does the chart say? The report demonstrates differential brand lift metrics for host and announcer read spots in a structured test. What does it mean? Well, host read ads continue to perform the best, while talent read ads executed properly perform very well with adjacent related podcasts. Why is this cool? Host versus talent is a false choice. This experiment shows that both have their place at varying points in the customer journey. Be sure to check out all the links to every article mentioned right in your podcast listening app or at soundsprofitable.com, where you can also subscribe to the newsletter version. The download is written and produced by Brian Barletta, myself, and Tom Webster. For Sounds Profitable, I'm Gavin Gaddis. Download us tomorrow.